And we are a little bit more than 40 registered participants today. So we are very happy to meet you all, if we not see you all, but to meet you all here, and very happy for your interest in this matter. So I will start by sharing a presentation and explain the hours we have in front of you, I mean. So can you all see?
Yes.
Presentation? Yeah. Good. So once again, welcome. And I am Yvonne von Friedrichs, and I'm hosting this webinar together with my colleagues in MERSE. It's Cecilia Dahlborg, and we are from Mid-Sweden University, and Maria Ledismäki and Karja Rinnekoski from Ruralia Institute at Helsinki University. So we are hosting this webinar together. Okay. I will also ask you if it's okay for you all to record this webinar because we want to use it on our website after this meeting. So if you're not okay, please remove your name or so from your presentation. Yeah. Yes, first, we would like to talk about the aim for this webinar. And we have results and also previous results that shows that assessing and communicating results and impact of social value to stakeholders is repeatedly highlighted as a central challenge in the field of social entrepreneurship. Despite the various evaluation tools already existed on the market, the adaptation to small social enterprises is poor and therefore difficult to use for the social enterprises. In the webinar, we will discuss why it is important to measure and communicate social value, for whom it's important, and how it can be done. And we will also listen to a presentation from a social enterprise in Norway about using social value measurement as a tool in a small social enterprise. We will also demonstrate a first version of the assessment and communication tool that is developed within the framework of the MERSE project. So the agenda for today is accordingly to this, with a short presentation of the MERSE project and a background to why measure and communicate social value. An example by Veronica Schenke Reinos, a social entrepreneur from Norway. And then we just give a short background on why we develop social value measurement and communication tool in MERSE project. And then Erik Okfors from Creative Crowd is going to demonstrate the first version of the MERSE tool. And then we have planned a short workshop where you can discuss and also discuss your impressions and also give us feedback on improvements before we will test it more seriously into social entrepreneurship. We conclude the webinar with a discussion and summary. So I will first take the opportunity to present some short description of what we come from, the project we've come from. It's an Interreg NPA program project. And we are the target group for the MERSE And MERSE, it stands for Business Models Empowering Rural Social Entrepreneurship, Voicing the Rural Norm. And the target groups for MERSE operate within the rural areas and rural regions in the northern periphery and Arctic areas. And they share common features such as a low population density, low accessibility, and low economic diversity. And they also often have abundant natural resources in the area. And this unique combination of features results in shared challenges and opportunities where social entrepreneurship and community engagement can play a more vital role than it does today. However, there is a general low knowledge and understanding of social entrepreneurship and how social enterprises benefits rural areas. And this makes it difficult for predictable economy, adaptive regulations and supporting ecosystems, along with necessary infrastructure for rural social enterprises. And this lack of understanding and awareness of the need for innovative business models for social enterprises inhibits sustainable regional and local development in rural areas. So the purpose for MERSE is to make it easier for people to start and develop social enterprises in NPA's rural areas. And MERSE will, with the activities and research, contribute to better adapted business models, support structures and conditions for social enterprises. We will also improve transnational knowledge and learning about rural social entrepreneurship to make the social impact of social enterprises sustainable and legitimate as local value contributors. And who are we? We are 20 partners and associate partners in the project, and we work together with social enterprises. And the partners come from 5 countries. It is Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Norway, and Sweden. And the partners come from public organizations in business in municipalities and regions. They come from business support organizations, from interest groups, including NGOs, and also from higher education and research organizations, and from social enterprises. And as you can see, we are represented from a lot of organizations. So why do we have this webinar today? Our studies show that the main obstacles that social enterprises face is insufficient funding, but also difficulties to reach relevant markets. And they have difficulties to demonstrate the social value of the enterprise. Our belief is that those 3 obstacles are closely linked together in the way that without possibilities to demonstrate that social value it is difficult for social enterprises to reach funders and relevant markets. So with that, I will pass the word to my colleague Cecilia Dahlborg for her to expand this issue using results gained through our research as in the MERSE project.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I will start to raise the questions that I think Yvonne already have answered on. Why should we measure and communicate social value? Because previous research highlights that the measurement of social impact is a key function in the field of social entrepreneurship. Even if the aim of social entrepreneurship is well known, there is a need to clarify this value for others. The demand comes from various sides. It's from investors who want to direct money to our special projects. It's also from other public funders and also from the social entrepreneurs themselves in order to improve impact for their beneficiaries and to motivate staff and volunteers and also to attract new target groups. Overall, the aim is to have sustainable social businesses. Yeah, in May last year, we sent out a questionnaire to social enterprises in the 5 different NPA countries, Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Norway and Sweden, and we got about 100 answers. And picture that we saw was that almost all enterprises highlighted that they are affected in a high or very high manner due to the location of the company. Yvonne started with raise these different problems. Oh, you could just back. Because it's about these sparsely populated regions. In those regions, the understanding of social enterprises is maybe even lower than in more urban areas. And there are difficulties to recruiting expertise and also to getting new networks and such a thing. Yeah. The results from our study shows that the social enterprises often operate and have more than one target group. A lot of them aim to develop the local community, and target groups could be youth, elder people, employed people, but also that they have more than just one target group. And the same is about sectors. We also could see here that it's a lot of different sectors that the social enterprises operate within, and more than one, the red line, is showing that more than half of the social enterprises in our study also operate within more than one sector. But the most common one was local community, social service, culture, and work integration companies. In this study, we raised these important questions. Do you measure not social value, the social value that your company provide for the target groups? And just about 27% answered yes on that question. They said that yes, we prepare social financial statements every year. We collect feedback from our target groups, from the network, and conduct individual studies on awareness and impact. And it's done in various ways according to a funding contract. We could also see differences between which sector the social enterprises operated in. If you remember the sectors, those that had more than one sector did say yes, that they measured social value in a higher degree than the average, that was 27%. Work integration companies also measured in a higher degree, as well as community-based businesses and health businesses and businesses within environments. And we could also see that some other variables did difference between the social enterprises. Business that was older than 10 years, they measured in a higher degree. If the social enterprises had got public grants, they also slightly measured in a higher degree. And also bigger companies, those with 5 employees or more, and those with a lot of volunteers, they also measured in a higher degree. And finally, we also saw a big country differences because Ireland and Finland did measure in a much higher degree than compared with other countries. To summarize these results, we could see that our results was in line with previous results, previous research that highlight that size of companies, social companies, and if they have public funding matters, if they measure or not. But we could also see from the MERSE results that also business age and depending on country showed differences. Reasons then why to not measure. We could see that it's about time and knowledge, mostly.
Cecilia, you have your microphone off.
Oh, sorry, from when? Was it just now? I hope. Oh, I back. Reasons not to measure was about lack of time and knowledge. And here is voices from the social entrepreneurs why they didn't measure. We don't know how to do. We would do it, but it's also not relevant for us spending time and resources on measuring this. This could be developed and made public. Yes, of course, some entrepreneurs from Finland say. And the task is still in development and it's not working yet. It was a voice from Iceland. Yeah. Oh no, it was, yeah. There, yeah. The social entrepreneurs know the value of measure. They know that they should measure, but they need help with this because it's very difficult. And we think that the support organization in the countries really could be an help for support organization in this way. In the MERSE project, we also made a survey to support organization, sent it out to a lot of business advisor in the different countries. We got 61 answers, and this picture shows that just a few of them, 11 of 61, did help enterprises to measure social value. This was short, some results from the MERSE project, our questionnaires and studies of social enterprises, and due to this question about measuring social value. And we now are going to turn our attention to a social entrepreneurs that really do measure value.
Yes, we would like to welcome Veronica Schenke Reinås from Eikre activity in Hell, Norway. So please, Veronica, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
I will try to share my screen. And I will see if I can manage to make it right, so I also can see you.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
And then I try to make it okay. I see that I cannot see my notes, but that's my problem. Okay, so now you see the screen with the total. Is everything okay now, Ivan? Yes. My name is Veronica, and I'm the founder of Eikre Activity. Our motto is no one left behind, and empowering people and strengthening communities. I'm so happy to talk about this topic because it's my favorite topic. So please stop me if you have a question, and I will try to make this as short and understandable as possible. So who are we first? My company was established in 2009, and we are a part of what we call Inn på Tunet in Norway. That's kind of green care. We use the farm and nature for a setting for inclusion, learning, and empowering. And we have now mainly two target groups at the farm that I will talk about today. The first one is young people that are not in school, employment or training. That's often what we call the NEET youth. And we have immigrant women who are far from the labor market and often with little or no formal education. And our mission here is to create a safe and meaningful arena for change where participants can build confidence, experience mastery, and reconnect with society. And how do we measure that? That is what I'm going to use the next 10 minutes to talk about. Our key partners here, I want to mention, it's what we call NAV in Norway. That's the Norwegian Labor and Welfare Administration. I'm sure you have the same in your countries. The municipality is a key partner for us, and also what we call IMDi, that is the Norwegian Directorate of Immigration and Diversity. I'm sure you also have compared to that in the other countries, and also other social innovation networks. So, why do we measure? Let's see, then I think that if we don't measure, it will look like this. So this image illustrates what happens when we don't have a clear and shared goal and no way of measuring progress. Everyone runs here, but in different directions and without a shared target and a way to evaluate whether we are moving in the right direction or not, our efforts risks becoming scattered. So we focus very much here at ECRA on setting clear goals and measuring whether we are achieving them, both for the individuals that are here in our programs, but also for the society that gives money for that we are doing here. So I think this is really important because what we mean is without direction, action leads nowhere. And to understand why do we measure, you can see here in the picture we have guests. We have a lot of guests. This is some politicians from our national government coming here, because if to understand the real impact of our work, they need to understand the change we create, and if we can't improve that, we cannot grow. At ECRA, we measure to understand what we do, and it's not enough to count how many show up. We also want to measure how do we change their lives. So we measure and we try to communicate it out to the founders and the public partners to both strengthen our voice as a small rural social enterprise and also to innovate our own program. Because if we don't get feedback, how do our participant feel with the program we are doing? We don't know if we hit the right spots in their lives or not. So that's it. Really, the impact must be visible and also to be valuable. So how and what do we measure? It sounds maybe a little bit difficult to catch it, but I'll try. We have a daily digital feedback with a QR code. We ask the same questions each day to the different participants. So we use both a everyday tool and a long-term tracking to measure the social value. Every day when our participants arrive at the farm, they scan a QR code in their phone because everybody have a phone, and they answer the same short anonymous questions every day. And this gives a daily insight into their emotional state, their motivation, and their engagement, and that allows us to continuously check progress against the program's goals. So this is what this is a part of what we call the ACRA model, and we have tested it now in what we call Restart Young for 16 to 24 years. And we have support from another company called Effect Lab that I will talk more about later. But we don't only take this everyday measurement. We also have a baseline measurement when they start, a mid-term measurement, and an exit measurement when they are finished. And then we want to also continue to follow up after 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year to understand whether the changes last. So we combined a kind of quantitative data with participant stories, conversation, and partner feedback. And this helps us to capture both numbers and nuance, so we have the full picture of what impact really looks like. I tried to make a kind of figure out of it, so you can see. So in the left side, we have this baseline measurement when they start in the program. And the green, I don't know what it's called. The green one show the everyday measurement we do each time they are here. And then we have this exit measurement to capture the outcome in the end of the program. And depending on how long the program is, we also do some bigger measurements in the middle. For example, if I have a 1-year program, often we follow the school year. It starts in the autumn, ends in the summer. Then we also have a measurement around Christmas or New Year. So this is how we have made it. And this is how the feedback can look like. Here it's written in Norwegian. I cannot manage to translate this to English. But here you can see some examples of the questions from my log that they are asked every day. And we ask the same questions, and this allows us to see both daily variations and long-term trends. So this is a very powerful tool for understanding how the youth feel, how useful they perceive themselves to be, and how their well-being develops over time. And the most important thing here, they get a voice, because this is a group that don't have a voice in so many other places in the society, and it's really hard to get in touch with their voice because they are so shy, and often these kids struggle a lot with the psychological problems, and then to reach them somehow in this anonymous way, in this QR code in their phone, we have found that this is a really good way to measure. And it's really nice because every Monday we get a measurement from last week, and we are so excited how it was last week for the group. And then we immediately get in touch, are we reach in the right direction or not? Because if not, we have to do something else. So this is also how we innovate the program from each week after the measurement from the group. Is it understandable? Yes, good. And how is the support on this? How did we start with it? This was, it's not so easy. It will not be able for us to do it without support from others. So we collaborate today with a company called Effect Lab, who help us to design our impact framework and conduct daily digital measurements. They are the one collecting all the data. We don't get it directly in our computers. They get it, Effect Lab get the data and give us feedback every Monday. So we are not in touch, so we cannot impact the measurement. And that's also important to make it valuable and to make it to be the right numbers coming from out, the right output. So their support is tailored to small rural social enterprises like us, and but it's expensive to use them, and we have got support from we are founded by NAV, as I told you, and also a national banking foundation to do this measurement, because they are also really interested in does the money we gave out for these projects makes an impact? So it's easy when you talk to them, but it's kind of hard for them because this is a new way of thinking. But I found it like a game changer when I start talking about this, to make them really trust in what we try to deliver and how we use the money that we are given. So we will never stop doing this. We just have to do it more. And it's all started when I was joining Impact Startup in 2020. It was a business and impact development program. And that's how I understand the real, this is something. So we have done it now for 5 years, but still it's a lot to learn. And that's why we need to have this as a topic that's important for all social enterprises. We also join Interact Research Project with the university here in Trondheim called NTNU. It's from 2023 to 2027. They also follow these measurements. And of course, this MERSE Project that supports small rural social enterprises like ours. So, but we still need these tools that are adapted to the small social enterprises, and also we need to be trained in how we communicate the impact, because it's such a new topic. So it's kind of hard sometimes to get through, but I think that is something we can be better on together. And of course, we need this long-term stable funding, because this takes time. But when I do this impact measurement and deliver the results, I think that it will be easier than to see that we need the foundings. Okay, now I try to don't use so much more time, but to end here, I will give you some few tips, because this can look like a lot of work, but if you just start simple and use what you already have, I'm sure all of you have something that can work in small and or rural settings. And be important to measure what matters, because sometimes it's easiest to measure what is not the most important thing. So using a lot of time to find out what shall we measure and what is the social impact I really want to achieve in this program. And even if it's harder to capture, this is really what you need to focus on. And try to adapt tools to your size and context. Don't copy large organization. I tried so many and it's so hard. So I'm so happy that MERSE will do this job now to try to find a tool that works for us. And of course, collaborate, because this is hard work. This is one step forward, 3 steps back again, because you think you measure in the right way, and then, oh no, the output was something else than I have expected, and I don't hit the target group, or I have done a lot of mistakes. But when I collaborate with others, even if it's not they don't have the same target group that I have, but we have so much to learn from each other, and impact grows through partnerships, so that's really important. And of course, you must use your results here to tell your story, because data alone is not enough, because it's so many now who want the money and to use findings to build trust and secure support and inspire others. That's really important. And of course, keep in focus, because social changes takes a lot of time. It's a kind of slow, deep, and relational thing, but trust the process and just keep going. And when you start getting the good measurements, and then you can innovate in the same time, it's really fun work. So thank you for your attention, and I can open for any questions if there are some here now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Veronica. And you can also, are there any questions? So please raise your hand. Thank you so much for sharing how you go about to measure the social value of your venture. It's so important to have it from the horse's mouth. So thank you so much. Really, really, really good. And now we have a question Please.
Hi. Hello, good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
Hannah. Thank you, Veronica, for the presentation. When you do the daily measurement, you do it at the beginning of the program when they arrived, or?
We have one in the morning when they arrived that they can tell us how did your morning start, because it's really important for us to get in touch with how is their mood when they're coming, and then we do it in the end of the day when they leave. Yeah, so we do 2 measurements, but we have now a new model this year that we will start with now next month, that we try to make them explain in the end of the day how do they feel this morning. So we have had 2 different measurements during the day, but now we will try to make it together in one, because it takes a little time but it's also very nice for them to try to get in touch with how do they actually feel, because when they do this every day, they also have to turn to turn inside themselves and not only outside. So we are not sure if we want to take 2 or only 1 measurement, but we will try out a new model for 2 months now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We can't, we don't have any time for more questions
so sorry.
right now. No, right now. But please go to the MERSE mini website. The address will come in the end as well, but you have already found it, I suppose. But you can find all the contacts to Veronica in our mini website. Because you are part of a leadership training program in MERSE. Thank you again. So interesting and valuable. So really, really good. I would like now to give the floor once again to Cecilia, because you will give us a short introduction to what Erik is going to talk about, or demonstration of the measurement communication tool that we are developing within the framework of MERSE. So please, Cecilia.
Yeah, and if you could just share.
I will.
Thank you, Veronica. It was really nice to hear how your story and how you do it. And maybe it could seem strange that we in MERSE now are developing just one more tool to measure value. But as Veronica said, this tool that she uses, it's rather expensive and sometimes maybe hard to use. So that's the reason why we would like to provide a easy tool for for small social rural enterprises. And we have worked with this issue in MERSE for a while now, and we just want to highlight some background what we think it's important. We think that this is something that is important, that you know what the resources that you need to do activities, what they results in. Anyone who wants to finance social goods and anyone who wants to provide them should use metrics to clarify how our inputs can contribute to outcomes, as well as to clarify choice and trade-offs. I think that is important. And in line with previous research, we also think that the theory of change model is very useful, or the value chain, also called that, where you could see this chain of changes. You need to start with outputs, resources needed to fulfill the social mission. Then you could do various activities, and you could describe them, and you can also count these activities rather easy in outputs. For example, number of activities, number of participants, events, and how many we have reached, and so. But then we come to the really hard step, outcomes. What do the activities results in? For example, how many people have changed their situation, maybe got a job, start studies, or feel better, and such a thing. That's the more harder thing to measure. And in the end, we know that social enterprises strive for all the time improve impact. And then we think that the connection to this 17 social development goals could be a way to show it also what the whole company is doing. So we recommend this logic change, but as a starting point, it also, now you can change. It's also important to answer the questions, why are you doing this? What is the magnitude of the problem? For whom are you doing this? You need to highlight your target groups and what is the expected results, the solution and the goals that you have. So with these words, I just want to give the background, what we think is important to put in this tool. And we are now going to listen to Eric and from Creative Crowd, how our MERSE tool is look like in current.
Yeah.
Thank you. I forgot to unmute myself. Oh, did you want to say anything before? Oh, perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Erik Okfors. I work for a company called Creative Crowd in northern Sweden in Skellefteå. We have the opportunity to work with Madison Mittuniversitetet to create this tool. So I'm gonna try to share my screen. And I wanna select this one. You should be able to see I can't see you, unfortunately, now in the background. So if someone can help me.
See.
If someone raises their hand or anything, if someone can help me with it. Perfect. Thank you. So this tool is then a online tool that the goal is to, as the lovely people before me tried to explain, I'm not that good with presentations, I'm sorry. It's been a long weekend and a long day. So, but this is a tool that supposedly is to help with the social impact evaluation and how to present that. So at the start, you will get to this login screen where you can either log into your company or that you can sign up with a new company. For the sake of this, I'm going to log into my account or our company's account, if I can learn to spell. So as soon as you're logged in, you will be greeted by the dashboard. And on the dashboard is where you will see the majority of all the things. I'm going to keep track of my time as well. There you go. The majority of the information that is valuable for these presentations that I will get to in a minute. So the first thing we will see, for example, is Creative Crowd. So this is some of the people at Creative Crowd. They're a very interesting bunch. But what we also can see is some information that is based on the theory of change. It's a little condensed version of the full theory of change. But we can edit that. For example, if I were to open this edit, I can, for example, write in what is my company doing, what are we solving, who are we targeting, and then we can look at the agendas that the company itself are striving towards for the 2030 goals, for example. So I can change these. If my company has started to go for no hunger, for example, I can just add that and save. Let's, for the sake of this demonstration, let's go with that as well. So that will be viewed here. I can see my current activities and surveys if they are an open. We're calling them open activities, which is an activity that has not finished yet. So if it's an upcoming activity, for example, it is an open activity. And open surveys is surveys that has not been published yet. So, for example, I have a finished activity and a published survey that is then not open. I will get back to reports. Let's go to activities, for example, and I will see activities and surveys. So we at Creative Crowd, we did something called a creative jam in August, for example. So that is an activity. So I can view that activity, for example. I have named it aptly Creative Jam number 1 because it was our first time doing that. And these activities are, well, the small activities that you hopefully are doing In this case, this was just a small get-together with 13 people only, but we strive towards equality and reduced inequality and sustainable cities and communities, and I think I forgot one, and peaceful and inclusive societies. Let's go for that. And here I can describe some description of the Creative Jam, for example. I can select the date, the number of participants, and this is actually a finished activity that we've done. It is past that due. If I were to look at an upcoming, which in this case is just going to be called Creative Jam number 2, and I have started filling in some of the things here, but I don't know how many participants, for example, are going to be there. That is something that we can look at after we have done this. One feature for if anyone saw the first demo I did, we've added that you can add some thumbnails to these. So where did I save this? So let's take this one, for example. So now it's a little easier to keep track of that has a thumbnail, for example. It's just a nice way of keeping track of, because Creative Jam number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth has a tendency to be a little boring to look at. So pictures are nice. But one of the main thing with this tool is, of course, the surveys. And the surveys can then later be connected to an activity. So I have created earlier a survey. So for example, this survey looked like this, for example. I asked a number of questions. If I found the jam enjoyable, for example, and all the questions are from 1 to 5, where 1 is low and 5 is a high number. We can look at the actual survey in a second. But here I can see the results of all these. Oh, this is not that. So we can actually go and look at the survey itself. So these are all the questions that I've created. So I can click this link. It says copied. Let's go to that. And this is how the surveys are structured. And these you can all send out. Unfortunately, due to GDPR, we can't store and broadcast the surveys, because then we have to go into a whole other security question. But these links, you can just copy paste and then broadcast to all the participants that were participating in activities and internal, whatever you have done. So people can just answer these. So I found the jam enjoyable, for example. Yes, I did, for example. And I'm just going to add some random numbers right now. And then I'll hit complete. Thank you for completing the survey. And then I need to update. And my numbers have now been added to the survey, and I can see the average of this. And this is going to be taken into account whenever we do something called reports later on, to actually see the big picture of everything we have done. You have to visualize that you are most likely going to do way more things that I have filled in right here. There might be 10, 20 activities and hundreds of surveys. I don't know. I'm an IT person, not a cool person like you guys. So this is going to be more information. But one of the interesting things is that we can create new surveys by clicking this plus button. We can create new activities by clicking this plus button. But all of them combined together with our company info is going to be gathered into these reports. So I'm going to open a report. I could have created a new one. They look exactly the same. They will all take you to this site. So I have called this one report Creative Crowd, or CC, Q3, for example. And a summary of the Q3 of 2025 for Creative Crowd. And here I can see all my activities, and I can see all my surveys that are available for my company. And let's say, since I know that the Creative Jam 2 and the Feedback 2 is not active yet, I can just select the ones I feel are needed to this report. If you select an activity, they will automatically fill in all the relevant information from the agendas and surveys that are connected to that activity, but you can just go in and change them however you like. So I always need to save, by the way, because if I click out, it will just go out. And then it's updated. So if I unclick that, and if I click it again, this 10 will be resubmitted into this. Now that I have filled in all the information that I think my report needs to have, I can then click on generate summary. And this is just a generation tool, so I'm going to keep it at 400 words, for example. And I'm going to click give me a summarization of all the activities, surveys, and company information for this report, for example. So this takes a couple of seconds. This sends it away to a summary AI to just summarize all the things for me. It's usually fairly quick. There you go, for example. And so this is a summary of the company overview. It looks kind of stilted right now. This is totally editable. So if I wanted to go in and change something, I could. The cool thing that I really like with this, where this tool is going, is what we can do next with it. You can just take this, of course, and go do something. But we did look up a couple of solutions how we can present this in a more interesting way. And this might look weird, but I'm going to explain why we did this as well. So I'm going to click this create presentation. So this is going to send me away to another website. And I'm going to log in. And I, for some reason, have chosen the world's weirdest passwords. I have a tendency to write it wrong, as I did there. There you go. I think I did it right. There you go. So what happened when I pressed the create presentation, it sent me here, and it actually copy pasted all this information in this summary. So if I just click here and just go Control V for paste, or right click and paste, it will send all the information in here. So this website is actually a presentation generation tool. So I have pasted everything into a presentation mode. I can select to do it as a web page, a document, or a social media post. I'm going to keep it a presentation for now to showcase this. I can then choose if I wanted to do it, generate something new out of this, or summarize this long text into something valuable, or preserve this text exactly. I'm going to ask it to make it a little nicer than my stilted version. So I will prefer this tool is free, and I can go into later on why this was chosen to do this. So right here, I'm going to keep this very minimal for now. I'm going to drag it down to only 6 cards. So this is like 6 slides. I'm going to choose English, for example, and I'm going to choose a pistachio theme. And I'm going to choose that my image sources are abstract, and I'm going to click generate. The reason why this is generated, the reason why this is a separate website, is that when we try to implement it into, or not try it, when we implemented it into the tool, like this tool, it didn't have support to change any of these. So you would just get something, and that's what you got. So by moving everything over to this tool, we can now have a 100% changeable. So I can say it's supposed to be created crowd AB, for example. I can change all the images. I can click on this image and go, I want to edit this image with my own image. So let's upload this image instead. Nope, wrong. Like that, hypothetically. So if by doing it on this tool separately, you have all the editability, you can edit whatever you want in this case. And I did look up for the free version, which it is free. You can do a lot with this free version. But if you if you start paying a month, you can incorporate your own branding with fonts and logos and color schemes and everything. That is unfortunately right now a paid thing. I think it's like 100 crowns a month or something like that. So, but from here, I can present. And we can look at the presentations that we did. So these are the information that comes from the tool. So all the things that we have entered into this tool, we can then quickly create and I don't know the correct word, so please excuse me if this would be an outcome or something. You can showcase what you have been doing over like a half a year or something. All the activities and all the surveys that you have done can now be showcased, for example. These are shareable, so you can just click share and you can share this by a link and you can share this presentation to someone, or you can just view this or present directly from this website. That is the main thing. I did forget to show you how to create new surveys. So I have a survey that is essentially empty. I have just added a few questions here. So if you click on show, you will get a little information and some tips on how you can describe your questions. But all of the questions right now are 1 to 5 disagree to agree questions. You have to think a little bit how we formulate the questions. But adding new questions is as easy as clicking this add question. I would come back for another jam. And then I can hit publish, for example. If I now go to this, I now have a new question. And in this case, none of the responses have been made. So I need a jam. I felt welcome. I was supported. Was well organized. No. It had a diverse range, and I would definitely come back. So if I click OK, go back to my and then view, and now I have an answer there. So this is general. The general steps here is that we create a company. You fill out the information about the company, what you're doing, what you're trying to solve, what agendas you're going for, and who's your target audience. That in turn, you create a bunch of activities, and they can be small, big activities. And then you connect surveys to them, or you can have standalone surveys. It doesn't have to be connected to anything in general. But you can connect them to activities, and it is as easy as clicking here and just clicking on one here and clicking save. Now these two are connected. And at the end, we create reports, and from the reports, we generate summaries that we can take to this AI tool to create pretty presentations that you can broadcast to the world. I think that is the presentation in a nutshell. Do we have any? I have like 3 more minutes, I think, if my clock is correct. If there are any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, Veronica.
Is it possible to have any questions where they can write an answer? For example, is there anything we can do to make your day better or the events better so they can put in some text, or is that not possible?
I will say it is possible. It is a little finicky on my side, but it's 100% possible. I did forgot to mention that this is a pilot version that is going to, I don't know if you talked about that, it's going to go through a process of internal testing first. But I will definitely write that down. Yes, it is a little finicky. It's not as easy as just saying, can we add that? I need to do some finicky stuff. But text question.
As you say, Eric, we're going to test it now within the framework of MERSE with the social enterprises involved in the project and get feedback from them. Then we will refine from the feedback, or Eric will refine from the feedback of this tool and then it's going to be available, but for others to develop further. So any other questions?
I can, in the meantime. Oh,
Mm.
there's no. Oh, there's.
Yeah, Sara.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the questions. Can you get support how to articulate your questions or improve your questions so it's really targeting your goal?
It's something that we talked about, but it's such a broad question, unfortunately. And for this pilot, we made the decision to. I need to actually create a new survey to actually showcase this. So in the beginning, we have this where you can get a little feel for how the question could be structured. And it is something that we have talked about, that maybe we can get like, this is what I'm doing. Can you give me some questions? Unfortunately, we couldn't fit it into this pilot to begin with. So, but we have talked about it. But I will write it down. So.
Yes, thank you, Sara. Any other questions now, or if we Erik put his email address if you want to direct
any specific questions for later.
Yeah.
I will also stick around until the end, or till another 30 minutes. So if something pops up, I will be in this call.
Yeah.
But I will be muted. So if there are any questions further on, I will be here. So
excellent, Erik. Because now we are going to let all participants discuss this. Yeah, applause to also to Erik, and now you will have the possibilities to discuss this tool that Erik demonstrated the first version of, and we are so grateful to have you to help us out with this. So Katja and Maria, please.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne. And thank you, Erik, so much for an interesting demonstration of the social measurement tool. It was fascinating, I think. And now for the next part of the session, we would really like to hear your thoughts and reactions, as Yvonne said. So we are going to have a short interactive workshop where you can discuss the tool in smaller groups, and this will give everybody a chance to share their opinions, ideas, and therefore maybe give us important feedback for the improvement of the tool. So in the moment, we will divide you into breakout rooms, and you will be automatically assigned to a group, so you don't need to do anything. Just wait a few seconds and we start the breakout session. And to help to structure the discussion, we have prepared the guiding questions for you. You will see them on this slide here. So you can start by discussing what are your first impressions of the tool. And we would also like to hear or know whether you think that this kind of tool could be used for social enterprises, and if you have any suggestion for improvement. So these are meant simply to get the conversation going. So please feel free to take the discussion in the directions you feel useful or interesting to your group. And one more thing, in the beginning of the discussion, you could first introduce yourself shortly, like give your name and organization and country, just because it's nice to know with whom we are discussing with. And it would be also very helpful if each group could choose one person to keep some notes, nothing formal, just key points, because when we come back together, we would love to hear a short summary from each group about what came up in your discussions. So you will have like 10 minutes for this activity, and when the time is up, you will automatically come back to this room and we will then have some time to share the main ideas from each group. So enjoy the conversations, and thank you already for taking the time to share your perspectives. It's really valuable input for us. And if Yvonne is ready, let's get started with the breakout rooms.
Yes, I have tried to do this, and it's going to be for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, send. What is? You were in every room.
No. When we were just talking, just like
Oh.
thrown out.
Okay.
Mid-discussions.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back, all. We hope you had a very nice discussions in your groups. And as said, we are very interested in hearing your thoughts and ideas of this tool. And let's start with the summaries with the first group. Max 2 minutes per group. I think it's enough. So maybe I can start actually. We were group 2. We had 3 people in there. We were discussing that this measurement tool is very nice because this is not too big, as these measurement tools usually are. They include too much stuff, and we had the privilege to have Veronica in our group, and she said that she's using these existing questions that are measuring the things that she is interested in. And by using these existing research questions and surveys and summaries, she will also get this kind of a background comparison, what other researches and impact values have said about this question. And so she will have this kind of a more comprehensive view of this thing that she's measuring. So this is maybe something we can take an example from. Do you, Veronica or Celia, want to add something?
I can add that making the questions sound like an easy job, and that's what I found out was the hardest job, because, and then I think it's so important to look at what is already done and make valid and very, very good surveys that are made from different countries. I use most Norwegian surveys, but I also use international valid surveys, because then I understand how writing the questions have a really big impact on how we get the answers. Because if we have leading questions, that will not make the survey valid. So I think it will be very useful to have a kind of pool with good surveys that are for different target groups on different topics, and we can talk much more about this later. Thank you.
Yes, excellent. So what about the next group? Anyone?
Who remembers that? Who remembers being in the group 1?
I think I was in the group 1. If I can go ahead. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hi everybody. I'm Anna-Pia, and I was in the group with Steinon and Christian. Please correct me if the names and the pronunciation is not correct. Okay. First of all, we were just discussing a little bit of the MERSE project. So we were giving some feedback about the presentation that we heard today. Between us, it was what emerged is that it's very interesting, the project, especially because it connects social businesses and they can share their experiences. And out of this, you can see like what the others are doing, how you can also improve your business out of this. And so knowledge sharing between businesses is very valuable. So we really appreciated this about the project. And then we had some little time to discuss about the tool, not of course very very into detail. Because for us it's a very new tool, and we just saw a presentation, so of course we don't have many thoughts about any improvement for the tool, but we were just discussing about, like one of the main obstacles to consider, it could be the fact that sometimes it's difficult to gather answers from businesses just because of a matter of time. They are of course busy in the everyday operation. So one of the big challenges, of course, could be this to consider. But this was just like a feedback without entering too much into the detail of how it is, of course, structured. The tool. We really think that the tool may be useful for businesses, and they can easily use it because it's very easy to use. But just this as a consideration for business to use. Thank you. And if the others from the group, of course, wants to add something, please go ahead.
No, this was fine.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I think you concluded it very well. I'm sorry, I have a very sore throat, so but yeah, it was nice hearing your both of your perspectives. For me, coming from within the project to hear an outsider's perspective, really, really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Group 1. Good comments and good feedback. Thank you. And what about group number 3? Who identifies themselves as group number 3?
I think maybe I was in group number 3.
Yes.
With
Great.
Maarit and Maarit Laakso and Nuambra Waveru, maybe. We discussed it. It seemed very swift how you can get the information and get it to a nice form of presentation. So and that seemed super handy and very quick. I started to think maybe I went a bit sidetracked then when I started to think what could be the next step, how I would get this information into such form that I could display it somehow to other stakeholders or to funders and people like that. So I can basically, like Nyambra said, that basically the return of invest kind of way. How could I get the data that is there to a form of money somehow, so that I could present that what we are doing is actually very useful and very beneficial and necessary for the society. Maarit and Nyambura, please fill in.
Those were good points. Yes, pretty much what we discussed.
All right. So do we have a group number 4?
Yes, we were group 4. So shy, a group with Jon, Ida, and Anna. We talked that it was easy to get into, but also maybe a bit tricky with the 2 different. You go from one and then transform yourself into the gamma 2, maybe. But also, what did we talk about? Maybe what the presentation, who is it for? Because sometimes the small enterprises talk to the municipality, maybe more structured, or is it for the funder that you get financial support from, or is it more the participants, or like then you need maybe different words, or you need to like change your presentation regarding to who are you talking to, like that was if you can like editing or helping with a bit more formal or structured to that. But what else did we talk about? Please feel free to add. we talked a little bit about how to get the people to start using the tool, because we thought it was a very good way to come into it, to start to get the courage to put in your organization and invest some time in it.
Yeah, maybe it's good to have like workshops in the beginning. It's hard to start by yourself.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And do we still have a group number 5?
See if anyone else wants to, because I
Yes.
was group 5, but if anyone else from my group wants to talk.
Yeah, so it was the two of us and Angelica and Michael, who were in group number 5. Our main, we were talking about the user side of it, you know, and this is always a certain problem, you know, how to get people to use it, and what is your level of, you know, how much do you need to know about technology, you know, basically, you know, to be able to use it. Angelica has, you know, a lot of experience of using different types of social measurement tools. So, you know, so it is the usage, you know, that was kind of our main concern, you know, that it would actually benefit the end user of it, and it could be able to use it.
It was very nice to actually sit down in a group. I need to leave in 30 seconds. I would just say thank you. And if you have additional questions further on, my mail is in the description. But it was very nice to hear your thoughts. But also, this is the point where it gets interesting for me, where you get to try it eventually, and then we can look back at like how was it actually to use, and then we can start iterating on that. So thank you all for giving me the time.
Thank you so much, Erik.
Thank you.
Bye.
So, thank you everyone for interesting presentation, discussions, and participation. Our time is closing up. It's time to wrap this up. Yvonne, do you have any last words?
Indeed, I have. I want to thank you all for participating. I will just move you a little. Participating in this webinar about this important question and issue, how to show what you are doing, what kind of social value you are, if you say, producing or in your venture. So as we said before, this is the first version that you have seen, and we are so grateful for your feedback. And we will bring this with us in a dialogue with the creative crowd and Erik. And then we will now, during the rest of this autumn, test this measurement and communication tool with the social enterprises. And as I said, have their feedback and go and refine this tool. And then it will be available because it's a pilot in this project, but it will be available for everybody to use for free. And that's the goal, to have an accessible and low of cost or free tool for social enterprises to use, and also for social support organization to use in their advice when advising social enterprises. So you can find more information about this eventually, and you can also find on our mini website, and the address is you can see on the here. And also I would like you to know that we have a series of webinars this autumn and also next spring before we end the project in the end of June. So we will come back with more webinars, and we will warmly welcome you to join our webinars in the next half year or so. So please do not hesitate to contact us. Also, you find all the addresses on the mini website, and you can send your, whatever feedback that you have. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Have a nice rest of the week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.